So I saw Yatra, which means the journey, your most recent film, a short documentary in Washington D.C. while you were showing it. I think Voices for Women. Is that the organization? If I'm
No,
not
I think
mistaken.
it's Vital Voices.
Vital Voices. And before I talk about it and ask you questions, just tell me about how that took place and how you started that journey of making a film, which is translated into the word journey.
Ah, so now this is again it's again one of the stories of chances, right? Um, so I was coming out of my maternity leave with my second child. So Palash is now 5.5. So this was when Palash was like about 8 months old or 9 months old, I think. Or and I was just coming out of my maternity leave, and Matt Alesevich, my co-director on it, he was looking for an editor to edit a sizzle for the footage that he had shot with Indian American doctors who would go to India to on medical missions. And my name comes up as an editor because I have been around for a very long time. And the first question I asked Matt is like, so the moment Matt approached me with this job, I was like, but I was like, I knew it was a low stakes job. Like I wasn't ready to take like a heavy duty network television job because those jobs are very demanding. They expect you to work 15, 16 hours a day. And I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to enjoy the childhood of my child and, wanted to be a mother for some time. And this job just seemed very easy to me of editing a sizzle. And I asked Matt, do you have money to pay me? I mean, so he said he did. And I'm like, oh, then sure, I'll edit. I mean, I had no problems editing. So I edited it, and it was very easy to edit that. And there's nothing new. Like, healthcare in India is fucked up. Everybody knows that. Like, I'm an Indian, I'm a native Indian who grew up in a ghetto. So I know about poverty more intimately than anybody else does. I know the politics behind nonprofits. I know the nonprofit industrial complex. So I was like, oh, this is one of those white savior films, this white savior and who's like, oh, all these poor people, I need to go and save them right now. And all these Indian American doctors, they're just going to come and they're just going to set up this camps and they're just going to leave and it's just going to be as devastated as it was. Like, I mean, I already like I had nothing. There was no sense of exotic for me. It's not new. So, but I edited it, and that sizzle was really like Matt was really happy with it, and he was able to fundraise with it. And I was like, I was really surprised. Uh, and then he kept asking me questions about what should I do now? What should I do this? What should I do? And I was like, Matt, if you're asking me all these questions, I said, first and foremost, let's be honest. There's no story here. You have footage of a lot of Indian American doctors going back and helping poor people, but helping for what? Like there's no depth in terms of you have a lot of characters, but you haven't gone deeper. So let's let's just go back to the basics, right? And then Matt was like ready to go along on the ride, and and also another thing happened, Jawad. At that point of time, I had two children. So I had my Palash, who's 5.5 now, and and Satya, my older kid, who's 12 now. And so he was 7 back then. 7 or 8, I think. 8. So I had two young children. And at that time, I was also like, I had two old people staying with me. I had my mother and my mother in law. And I was caring for 4 people at that time. So I was like, so Yatra was like my only creative vent because there was no way in hell I would have been able to take any full-time job. It was impossible. Uh, although I did edit a series in between, but that came a little later.
What
But
year was this?
what?
What year was this when you were in
So
this
this is
time period?
2020, 2021. This is before we met.
Okay.
But I edited a series called Philly DA in between. It was 2022. I edited Philly DA. Or 20, I don't remember. But so that was because Palash had like when he reached 1.5 year, I did that. So this was Yatra was like my only creative event, and Matt being Matt, he's just such a sweet guy. He just has this purest intentions, right? I just like he like I didn't like he's one of the very like he's one of those very few people who do not have this giant ego. Uh, and I think Matt was the one who like really pulled me in. His energy pulled me in. Um, so I did one. So I mean it was like some of my strengths, which is like my biggest strength is identifying a story, and I'm very instinctive. Like I almost instinctively know this is going to be the story, and this is how this person is going to pop in the on the camera. This person is going to be a star. This like my instincts tell me that. So I was instinctively drawn to Annie. I was like, of all your doctors, she's the only one who is going through a transformative journey. Just follow her. Don't follow anybody else. Drop all other doctors. They're all boring.